Hey, what's going on, everybody? I hope you're having a good day. I'm doing all right, and let's get into tonight's topic, okay? So, the topic for tonight is going to be called A Wicked Download I Got from Source During My Awakening, okay? So, it's just about how I ended up getting something crazy into my head, like, and it wasn't like, I swear it wasn't necessarily my own thought. Of course, it was my own thought because it was a thought that was in my head, right? But it's deeper than that. So, you ever get something and you're like, wow, that idea was so brilliant, or this isn't brilliant by the way, but it's different, but it's on that level of like brilliant, unsuspecting, out of nowhere, inexplainable, up the in that realm. You know what I mean? And you know that, oh wow, that was like a sign from God or something. Like it was, and it's. But let me explain, because it's him exposing more darkness, and this came out. And when this happened to me, I had like my very first sacred secretion activation on February 15th, 2023. And within that month, so late February or early March of 2023, is when I got this idea that popped up into my head, okay? So, 2 to 3 weeks into my first and strongest sacred secretion activation, I was at my pinnacle of discernment and intuition. I had very little need for food and sleep, as if I had been overindulging on both concepts my entire life. I was watching a video on YouTube, and boom, I got a download from the Most High. I knew that it wasn't completely my own thought, because if it was, it would have taken 2 to 4 more steps in order to come to this conclusion. It would have had to have been a series of things, and then it could take me there. But this was just boom, here's the end, here's the finish line. And you can see it in sight. Okay, so he showed me this clear as day. Okay, you ready? It's going to get weird, okay? Rich elites are tapped in. Okay, I'll tell you in a second. Rich elites are tapped in with all sorts of other scumbags out there, you know? And in this instance, I will draw a parallel to hackers, people who hack into phones, they hack into credit card systems, anything, right? So, my download from source/God, okay? Rich sickos are recording you masturbating through your front and back phone cameras. I know that sounds crazy. Like, what do you mean? No, well, who would do that? You know what I mean? Sick people who are bored and have no lives and they're sick. This came into me like I was watching something, like I was watching some YouTube video or something. And as I'm watching it, I almost got this weird feeling like somebody was watching me. You know, if you can sense somebody behind you, or like when somebody's around or somebody's looking at you, can sense that when somebody's looking at you, right? So many of us can sense that stuff. It felt like that, and I went like this, and I looked right at the camera real quick like that, and then it popped in my head that that thing right there, this camera, that we all have on the front of our phone, there's another one on the back of our phone. And the thing is, what they do is, these people are sick, so when many of us who succumb to this addiction of ours of watching corn, they will record your video, they will record whatever corn video that you are watching, and so they'll have that there, right? And then they will have your front camera and your back camera, so they will see your facial reactions, when you're doing your thing, and through the front camera they'll be able to see your facial expressions and you and your face and everything like this. They'll see like this much of you, you know what I mean? And then the back camera, they're gonna see like your business, because many people just go like this, and they lean back and do their thing, you know what I mean? So what you're doing, you're not thinking, man. Okay, so I suggest you take, if you're ever, I suggest you don't even do that. But if you're gonna be like, oh, screw that, I'm gonna still do it, and you're still doing your thing, whatever, at least put a little piece of like blue. I had like a blue tape, like heavy duty tape, blue, purple, whatever. Rip a little piece of tape and then rip it again and rip it again, to get a really small piece of tape, and just put it over your front camera, so that they don't see your face, so that you don't feel like you're being watched, because you are being watched, dog. What don't you get? Dude, you really think those cameras are only active when you allow permission and click allow, and then it can do it and you can hit record? Is that what you really think, bro? You don't think that thing's always going 24/7, unless you go like this and you block it off? Like that's what I'm talking about, bro. So let's get into this right away. 50 to 80% of humans masturbate at least semi regularly. I'm just 50 to 80%. I didn't even type in this is me just guesstimating, you know what I mean? Easily half the world of grown adults, you know what I mean? The majority of those people use their own phones to watch corn, CORN, while pleasuring themselves. You get what I'm saying? What? You really think your cameras are only on when you are using them? Spare me, dude. It gets deeper. These hackers get footage from your front camera, your back camera, and the video you were watching. They send it to these elites who pay them rather handsomely for it. They then make profiles of 50 to 80% of all the adults around in the world, like in America at least, and put them on a website on the black market. So, like I said, they then take those videos of you without you knowing or consenting or signing up for corn, you know what I mean? They make these profiles of you, and then 50 to it's like 50 to 80% of everybody, like it's 100% of everybody who's doing what I just said. If you're watching it on your phone and you're not covering up the front or the back camera, yeah, you already got. I'm already got. We're all guilty, right? But you could at least just start to block it. It's a big like fuck you to them. You know what I mean? Like, we're not playing your sick game, you weirdos, okay? Um, that's all. And then I'm explaining this, you know? And this sounded crazy to me when I got the download into my head, but it was during my spiritual awakening. And I'm like, maybe it's because I haven't been sleeping or eating as much because I didn't feel much need for that because I was feeling just pure bliss all the time and super consciousness. Like my intelligence went like, shoom. And like I was just having this crazy feeling from the sacred secretion, right? So, but then when I got this idea in my head, it was 2023. It was late February or early March of 2023. And here we are in 2026, and we've seen the Epstein files. So, you know that people are drinking achrome, like adrenochrome, and all this stuff like that. And they're doing all this stuff. And it's something about people eating humans as well, and all this crazy stuff. And it's like truth right in our face, right? So if that's true, like they say, the truth is often stranger than fiction. And boom, there's one example, right? So, but this is just coming to fruition now. But all this stuff that was from 3 years ago in my mind, right? So this is going to be something that I guarantee you the FBI and all those CIA, all those three-letter agencies, they are going to end up catching this. It exists on the black market for sure, not just the black market, the dark web, which is the internet's version of the black market. Okay, and this is what they need to do is find these types of hidden sites behind all these things to get into it, and they need to get in with that crowd and take them the hell down. You know, because that's sick too. Like we know the stuff that these other people are doing, like these sick Luciferians that are doing stuff to children and stuff. Like, yeah, screw them too, bro. But I'm just mentioning this because this is my own thing that I got that popped into my head. And you know, I just think people need to know that like these types of evils do exist, and just to protect yourself and your own image from being utilized against you like that, just cover the camera, man. Just have some privacy if you're going to do the deed. You know what I'm saying? It's that easy. And that's a quick little FU right to them so that they don't get you. They can't put you up as one of the pages to, oh, pay $30 to get access to this. And then each video, too, they're going to charge people for one view so they can watch it once and do their thing. And then they can't watch it again unless they pay again. I guarantee you they do that because they're milking the hell out of it because they know it's so like messed up and wrong that these people will pay again and again. And you know, and it's all rich people who can afford it, so they're like, no, it's for a good cause. These people are twisted, bro. What don't you get? Okay, so anyways, um where was I last? They send it to these elites who pay them rather handsomely for it. Then they make profiles of 50 to 80% of all adults and put them on a website on the black market. Just like how corn sites have pages on each individual corn star and their work, their various videos of work, this website does the same, but uses people who didn't sign up for any of it. You get what I'm saying? This goes against the will of everybody who ended up on this grotesque black market website on the dark web. I know this stuff, it sounds crazy, y'all, but the dark web is a lot worse than just identity theft and people's credit card information. The website, this is the next category, the website. You can research everybody by location, full name, and maybe even job title or job location. This way people can get their freak on whilst watching people that they actually know in real life and they are attracted to, but they don't hook up with them, they don't talk to them, they're like these little coward simps, but they all want to imagine and fantasize about these girls, and now they can actually see them, so they're like oh, I want in and all this stuff. There's a lot of sickos out there, not even just the people making this stuff, but the consumers are a big part of the problem, because as long as there's a demand for stuff like this, somebody's going to say, I'll chef up the supply, because that equals finance. That's money for them, financial gain. And some people do what thou wilt. This is the outcome of stuff like that. You see why I don't agree with Aleister Crowley and stuff like that and Satanism, because it's not about do what thou wilt, because if everybody does what they will, then stuff like this comes up, because they say, oh, well, I had the desire to do it. Oh, it's that easy, and so we're just going to dismiss it. We're not going to hit you in the head and say, wake up, don't do that to kids. You know what I mean? We're not going to do that stuff. What is going on, bro? So anyways, the customers must pay per person and per video. They see the corn video. This is what it is for them, what they're paying per video. When they click on and they buy access to your account just to see if you have any videos. Then if you do, they have to pay for access just for each video separately, one at a time. So they do that, and then what pops up when they buy one video is it shows the video that you were watching. Then it shows the front camera and back camera during your whole session from very start to very finish, if you know what I mean. And then it has your facial expressions. It has what you're actually doing on the back camera, and it has the video, and they get to see all of it come up like in front of them. So they're like, oh, and then they do their thing, and then it's locked again. And then if they want to watch that video again because it was addicting to them, they have to buy it again. This is what people do. I wouldn't have got a download so accurate and plain and like seeing it almost like when I was like, God kind of showed it to me, like that this stuff exists, bro. And why would I get a thought like that? So either I'm spot on, or I just gave the some of the darkest people on earth the best idea for them, their best idea. You know what I'm saying? So like either way, we're all screwed at this point, bro. But anyways, let's get back into the video, shall we? That is how these sickos profit financially off of this. This is how these sickos profit off of this financially as well. This is black market corn. This is dark web corn. For them, it is all about power, control, humiliation, doing more illegal stuff, and true mass surveillance. Do you understand like this thing, like the true mass surveillance, bro? Not just CCTVs and cameras out there to catch the bad guys. Not just that, way more. Like people putting hidden cameras in everybody's cribs and all this stuff. Or like when you buy lights, like the light that I have behind this. For all I know, under the light is a hidden camera, and they just sell them, and then they activate the second you turn the light on or something. Like who knows what's going on, right? So this is where it comes, and this is where this stuff comes in. Is it's like this crazy, dark, shadowy, elite underworld that has always existed, but people just usually don't see it in their day-to-day lives. So many people think it doesn't exist, or oh, it's hogwash, or they don't even know about it. They've never even heard such a theory, right? So, like I said, and true mass surveillance and getting their freak on, this is a direct result of sickos following Aleister Crowley's philosophy of do what thou wilt. Here's the problem. There are millions of sickos out there. As long as there is a demand, there will always be an actual need for such a supply, okay? The other problem is that most of us think that is disgusting. How dare they? But then many people would also be like, but I'd love to see blah, blah, blah naked. Oh, yeah, because she's pretty hot. And this is where they get you. This is why it's so wrong for us to have gotten into watching porn in the first place. Like when we were younger, we open these doors that you can't close very easily. You can definitely close them because I've heard stories of Christ redeeming people and them never going back. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not at that level. I get like 15 days to 21 days and then something goes wrong. And this is what's been happening for like the last 6 months to 2 years with me. It's hard, but I'm actually still trying and I get weeks. And I used to never even be able to get days. So now I can at least get weeks. So the thing is, you keep getting better at it, until you can finally punch it out for the last time. Because you don't want it. A big part of me doesn't want it. It's only this small part of me that it's like this, like the reptile brain in your brain. If you study that and look into it, Google that, and it's like the one that's like does impulses and shit, and that's what happens. That's the part that takes over when it goes, and it's usually from triggering an event, from like seeing something like a hot girl that pops up on my phone out of nowhere, and I'm like, dude, I stopped following all this type of content a long time ago, but it will still come up sometimes because they know that this is how Satan works. Is he'll get you like that, dude. But you have to be resilient and be stronger than that. But anyways, like I was saying, so it's wrong, but the temptation still seems semi-present for some of these people. This is exactly why lust is one of the most serious sins throughout the Bible. Some sins one will fight head on, but when it comes to lust, treat it like Minato Uzumaki. Flee on sight. You have orders to flee on sight. Do not fight it head on, bro. You get it? It's the only way to overcome it. Set a boundary and cut it off completely. That's the only way I'll be able to do it. So, in conclusion, don't consume corn. And if you do consume corn, please stop. If not, at least block off your cameras while doing the deed. Don't give them what they want. They want to financially profit off of your humiliation. Do you understand? Without your consent. By the way, this download was placed in my mind sometime in late February or early March 2023. Since then, we have seen the truth of the Epstein files come out. Just wait until the FBI uncovers this entire network. That is, if they are not compromised. I'm either spot on or I just gave these sickos the best idea ever for them as far as they are concerned with what's a good idea or the best idea. Do you get it? But yeah, dude, that's all I got on this topic. It was just something that happened to me way back then. And every once in a while, when I'm like watching something, I'll remember that weird feeling I got from the camera when I went, huh? And I looked at the camera, and then I started getting paranoid, and I started putting the little piece of colored tape over the front camera because I was like, I don't want it recording me. And now I haven't done that in years because I'm like, whatever, let them watch me all the time. I really don't care because when I'm not using the phone, it's down, and so they're not really getting anything, right? So, but it's only when I'm watching stuff. But what are you gonna watch? My reaction to a video when I'm like, or when I'm like, ha 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 ha, like, well, okay, I don't really care that much, but definitely be careful when you're doing the deed. You know what I mean? Just block the camera off because these people are gonna profit off of your accidental humiliation that you never signed up for. You know what I mean? That's all I got in this weird one. Until next time, stay safe, be blessed, and live lavishly. I'm gonna see all of y'all in the next one. Until then, just know that I love you all. Peace.